This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Thursday, the 14th day of July in the year 2022. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting. Here is what we're tracking tonight. As Indigenous leaders wrap up their national conference, the government is pledging more support and development for the hinterland communities. President Finale met with the Indigenous leaders again today and announced that an additional $3 billion has been earmarked for hinterland support this year. This is in addition to the money already budgeted and approved by the Parliament.
This is outside of the $50 billion we have already spent in the last 2 years. $3 billion dedicated to the work you have done yesterday in the categories I mentioned. In the coming weeks, you will see members of cabinet coming to join you in your communities in crystallizing these plans. Within that $3 billion, we will set aside $250 million for youth projects, youth empowerment projects.
Over the past 4 days, the Indigenous leaders have been meeting with government officials as part of their National Two-House Conference. While there have been concerns that the government is trying to control the management of the Leadership Council for the Indigenous communities, the government has been pledging to give the leaders more access to resources to ensure the development of the communities.
And our next engagement, as soon as that supplementary provision is passed, and let me tell you, we will ensure it is passed. We will not have anyone try to, and you will hear them. I can call out some of the headlines that you might see tomorrow. I wouldn't even do it, but look for them. Maybe go on Facebook page now, you'll see the comment section. Because there are some people who cannot help themselves but being negative once the PPP civic is in government.
The Indigenous leaders are also hoping that they will be consulted more on national issues that affect their communities and that the old issues regarding their land rights will be addressed completely. More news when we return.
How fast is fiber? Think fast. GTT Fiber has 3 packages with download speeds of 50, 100, and 150 megabits per second. That's fast enough to stream movies and music, to chat with Gran and Fran, to study, and more. What would you do? Upgrade to GTT Fiber today and don't get left behind tomorrow.
Guyana, we've returned. The International Building Expo is back, bigger and better than ever. The Guyana National Stadium will be transformed from July 22nd to 24th of 2022 as we bring you the most modern, innovative, and eco-friendly construction technology. Visit our booths and take a tour through the nation's infrastructure future as we bring you a slew of local and international exhibitors in manufacturing, architecture, engineering, financing, and other services in one place. Contractors, prospective investors, and homeowners. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to network, expand your portfolio, and learn about the most cost-effective building options for you. International Building Expo 2022, a new frontier for building a One Guyana.
Guyana is receiving more profits from oil production than ExxonMobil and its partners in the Stabroek Block. So far, The country has received over 700 million US dollars in profit oil and royalty. The royalty is paid by Exxon and its partners and is not recoverable.
Opposition leader Aubrey Norton has once again issued a call for Vice President Bharat Jagdeo to be removed from office amid the flurry of bribery allegations made by Chinese businessman Su Jinrong. An undercover investigation by the US-based Vice News has alleged, among other things, that Su acted as a middleman for the Vice President and potential investors. The Vice President has been repeatedly denying the claims. The President has since promised to investigate the claims, but the opposition leader does not have confidence in the Guyana police force investigating the serious allegations.
The President's call for law enforcement to investigate Jagdeo rings hollow. In the democratic society, Jagdeo must be fired to pave the way for an independent investigation. The President could only be taken seriously if he fires the second Vice President and he invites independent and credible investigators to deal with the allegations of bribery and corruption.
Opposition leader Aubrey Norton said the allegations in the Vice News documentary are serious, and those allegations warrant an independent and impartial investigation. He said it cannot be business as usual, and the President must demonstrate he is serious about fighting corruption in the country.
Any democratic society in the world, if the kind of allegations are made against a senior government official, the first step that the government should take is to fire that person, remove them from office. How do you leave somebody like the Vice President in office, as powerful as he is, and then ask the police who live in fear, who you control and dominate, to investigate?
The opposition leader said as he prepares to meet with members of the diplomatic community, he will once again raise the issue with them, given its seriousness and how it has been treated by the administration. The government has made a second withdrawal from the Natural Resource Fund, the Ministry of Finance has announced. According to a statement from the Senior Minister of Finance, Dr. Ashley Singh, a total of $41.6 billion Guyana dollars has been withdrawn from the oil fund in keeping with the Natural Resource Fund Act. The ministry said that a total of $83.3 billion has now been withdrawn from the fund. The first withdrawal was in the month of May. The government did not indicate what specific projects the money will be funding. According to the Ministry of Finance, the government will continue to work aggressively through sound and transformative investments of the oil resources from the Natural Resource Fund and will utilize the resources in a clear and transparent manner to the benefits of present and future generations, the government noted. Senior Minister of Finance Dr. Ashley Singh is assuring the nation that the government has been monitoring the cost of food and fuel that have been rising throughout the country over the past few months. While noting that the price increases are a global problem, Minister Singh said the government is aware of the issue and has been putting systems in place to ease the burden on citizens.
And so we recognize this as a government. We recognize that this is a global phenomenon that is having domestic impact. And we have been proactive in responding to it. We have taken off taxes from a number of items, but in particular, we have taken off taxes completely from fuel.
The Minister of Finance also pointed to the removal of the value-added tax on basic food items, adding that the government has also been making one-off cash grants available to vulnerable groups. Despite the minister's assurances that the issues related to the cost of living are being examined, citizens have called the government out on social media for not doing enough.
We live in the real world. We recognize that this is a global phenomenon. Inflation is a very serious matter worldwide. It's a matter that worries is worrying economic policymakers globally right now, and we are very much plugged into that global discourse. We're aware of the global discussions. We're participating in them. We recognize that it's a global problem. We are doing all that we can domestically, and we will continue to do all that we can domestically.
To address some of the issues related to the rise in the cost of living, Minister Singh said local food producers need to start producing more.
My call to domestic producers is that now is the time to increase your production. To all of our food producers, now is the time to increase your production. If you're a farmer, if you have livestock, if you grow vegetables or fruits, now is the time to increase your production. because obviously there is a market, a vibrant market for your produce. You're getting good prices. Now is the opportunity to increase production.
The finance minister said the government is not insensitive to the issue, and although he did not announce any new measures to assist with the problem, he said monitoring will continue.
Get ready for the most anticipated launch of the year. It's the official launch of Book a Ride, Guyana's premier ride-sharing transportation service. And we're doing it big with a concert you won't want to miss. Featuring for the first time in Guyana, international dancehall and pop superstar Jada Kingdom.
I can remember me did wanna hold up. I made it really this is something you ready for. Go love the same way. Let's get married, done with the play dates.
Alongside soca sensation Nessa Pepe.
Well, girl, whining, red woman, whining, well, girl, whining, red woman.
Bollywood and chutney princess Savita Singh. With performances by C. Kush and Drew Tobin. Hosted by Gully Raz. All the excitement is happening at Tower Poolside on Friday, August 5th. Guyana will come alive. Tickets are $5,000 for general admission and $20,000 for the exclusive VIP. It's the Book a Ride launch concert on Friday, August 5th. You won't want to miss it.
Doors and windows, Republic. Rooms and more, Republic. A brand new rug on the floor. Come to Republic, come to Republic. Whatever you need, you got it. Come through and get your mortgage. Live the dream with Republic.
95 to 100% financing, 50% waiver of negotiation fees, plus one lucky person gets their mortgage paid in full. Turn someday into today. Talk to Republic Bank about your low-cost mortgage today.
If you are applying for a land compliance from the GRA, you will need the following documents: completed application form, copy of transport title or lease, copy of agreement of sale or purchase, vendors and purchases tin, improvement schedule. You must ensure all outstanding capital gains taxes and other taxes due are paid and returns filed before you receive your compliance certificate. It takes 5 working days to receive your land compliance certificate. GRA, your partner in development.
Get a chance to win a brand new Toyota Race when you apply for a home loan. Get pre-approved by applying online, in bank, or at the Building Expo. Apply now. Promotion ends July 24 and the drawing will take place on the final day of the International Building Expo. Here's your chance to win and drive home a Toyota Race. GBTI, we see Guyana through your eyes.
Link Show 36 will be held over on July 16 and 17 at the National Cultural Center. Tickets $2,500 and $2,000. Link Show 36 holdover July 16th and 17th. Get your tickets at the National Cultural Center.
The Colombian and Brazilian nationals who were nabbed when their cocaine and marijuana-laden plane made an illegal landing in Guyana have been jailed for 4 years and 6 months, in addition to being fined $435.3 million each. The two men, 23-year-old Matias Vinicius Pontes Alberto and 43-year-old Rodriguez Canan Estevan, appeared in court yesterday and pleaded guilty to all the charges that were laid before them. In addition to the drug trafficking charges, the duo also pleaded guilty to operating an aircraft without airworthiness, interference with an aircraft, operating an aircraft without insurance, and false or misleading markings on an aircraft. Jail sentences were handed down for each of the guilty pleas, and the sentences will run concurrently, according to the police. Police ranks were at the Mahdia airstrip on Sunday when the small one-engine plane landed without authorization. The police immediately arrested the pilot and the other occupant. A search of the aircraft just after landing revealed over 630 pounds of cocaine and more than 120 pounds of marijuana in marked packages. Investigators suspect that the plane might have been traveling from Venezuela when it made the unauthorized landing in Guyana. The skeletal remains of a person were discovered in the Kuru Bank Dam along the Linden-Suslike Highway on Wednesday, and investigators believe the remains may be those of a man who was reported missing a few months ago. In a statement, the Guyana Police Force said the discovery was made on Wednesday night after police ranks went to the area as part of an investigation. The bones were found scattered in an area with a diameter of about 30 feet and showed evidence of being there for a long period. Several of the bones were found intertwined in the roots of small plants. From an examination of the skull that was found, the investigators said it appears to be that of a male and bore evidence of a sharp injury, suspected to be a chop wound. The police force said the remains will be sent overseas for DNA testing to confirm a possible identity. Well, the chairperson of the Guyana Elections Commission, retired Justice Claudette Singh, has ruled against a motion submitted by Opposition Commissioner Charles Corbin, which called for an internal review of the elections machinery, in light of the serious allegations leveled against the Commission at the conclusion of the 2020 regional and general elections. This is the second time within a month that the GECOM chair has shut down a request for an internal probe of the Elections Commission and its management of the 2020 elections. Opposition-nominated Commissioner Vincent Alexander told News Source today that he is disappointed but not surprised by the decision of the chair. He said Justice Singh sought to justify her position by what he termed cherry-picking some issues in the motion while ignoring others. Mr. Alexander said the opposition motion was clear, and it is his belief that it has nothing to do with ongoing court processes. He said he also does not find favor with the chairperson's position and that an internal probe would be outside of GECOM's remit. He said it's a matter of national interest, and with or without a motion, the Elections Commission should conduct a review of its internal system if it wants to avoid what took place reoccurring. Alexander did not say whether the opposition will be revising its motion, but he promised to issue a detailed press release to make the opposition's position clear on the matter. Mr. Corbyn's motion was seeking to have GECOM conduct its own independent review to gain a better understanding of the reasons for the allegations leveled against the Commission in the aftermath of the last elections, and for the Commission to consider if there are existing or potential weaknesses in the processes employed by the Commission for the conduct of future elections.
The International Monetary Fund has thrown its support behind Guyana's plans to bring down electricity costs through the landmark Gas-to-Energy project. This project is being supported by ExxonMobil and is expected to bring great relief to the people of Guyana through a massive reduction in electricity costs.
Get a chance to win a brand new Toyota Race when you apply for a home loan. Get pre-approved by applying online, in bank, or at the Building Expo. Apply now! Promotion ends July 24 and the drawing will take place on the final day of the International Building Expo. Here's your chance to win and drive home a Toyota Race. GBTI, we see Guyana through your eyes.
Doors and windows, rooms and more. A brand new rug on the floor. Come to Republic, come to Republic. Whatever you need, you got it. Come through and get your mortgage. Live the dream with Republic.
95 to 100% financing, 50% waiver of negotiation fees, plus one lucky person gets their mortgage paid in full. Turn someday into today. Talk to Republic Bank about your low-cost mortgage today.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyana's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, let's begin in Haiti, where Haitian protesters blocked roads in the downtown area of the capital of Port-au-Prince, where shots were heard as anger mounted over fuel shortages that have intensified as a result of gang violence. Gas stations across the country are mostly closed, with a major fuel terminal having been forced to halt operations due to a turf war between rival gangs in a town outside of the capital. That confrontation has killed at least 50 people. Groups of motorcyclists on Wednesday blocked major intersections in Port-au-Prince. A brief volley of gunfire rang out, although it was not evident who was firing or why. An official from the Haitian Prime Minister's office said the security situation is an important problem in Haiti that must be addressed. Jamaica is to host a high-level policy forum of the Organization of American States next week. It will deal with safeguarding the region's tourism sector from disruptions. In emphasizing the significance of the two-day meeting, the Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett said the talks relate primarily to building resilience among the small and medium-sized tourism enterprises to withstand disasters and external shocks. And stressing the Caribbean's dependence on tourism, the minister pointed out that if the small states are not able to manage the looming recession, the tourism industry will feel the full effects of it. He said small and medium-sized tourism enterprises represent 80% of the stakeholders of the industry. And finally tonight, international news. The BBC reports that Gotabaya Rajapaksa has resigned as the president of Sri Lanka after fleeing to Singapore in the face of mass protests at home over his rule. He is believed to have wanted to leave Sri Lanka before stepping down in order to avoid the possibility of arrest under a new administration. The cost of food, fuel and other basic items has soared for Sri Lankans. In the capital of Colombo, delighted demonstrators greeted news of the president's departure with dancing. Mr. Rajapaksa arrived in Singapore earlier today after first flying to the Maldives on Tuesday night. Reports say he is accompanied by his wife and 2 bodyguards. Singapore's foreign ministry said Mr. Rajapaksa had not asked for asylum or been granted any asylum. Singapore's foreign ministry said that Mr. Rajapaksa had not asked for asylum or had been granted any asylum. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.